Today, our guest is Jenna Gorham, the founder of Gorham Consulting Group and the RD Link. Her company's mission is to create relationships between health and wellness brands and registered dietitians to foster credibility and the spread of accurate nutritional information while helping brands and dietitians alike to grow their businesses in meaningful ways. So, in this episode, we're going to talk about how she created her one shop stop platform, the RD Link, and what benefits the community is reaping from it. Hi, Jenna. Welcome to the
Hi.
podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely psyched to have you on board today. When I actually found out you were the one that I was going to have the conversation with, I was really excited, to be honest.
Oh, good. Well, thank you.
It's not every day that you get to have meaningful and expressionful conversations with registered dietitians, especially one who have a foot in the tech company or in the tech sector, because most of dietitians they're just like lost in their way. Some are doing clinical, those who are not doing clinical, they just they don't have that firm hand and firm foot in the tech industry. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I think it's more common for dietitians to work in hospital or private practice settings. I mean, that's the nature of the career path. You work directly with patients. So, yeah, I think I took a more alternative route, I guess you could say.
I actually completely agree with that. I myself was not a fan of clinical work at all.
Yeah.
It sometimes it gets very I don't know if I should say it, but it gets boring. It's just very monotonous and it's very repetitive. I understand your
Were
perspective
you
of that.
a dietitian or you worked in hospital settings?
Yes, I am an RDS.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's great.
I've done clinical work for my house job for my internship, but that was it.
Yeah.
I did not want to pursue just pursue it any
Very
further.
cool. Yeah. Yeah, I started in clinical too, and I felt like the patients didn't always care what I had to say. I think clinical RDs are some of the smartest people I know.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the setting wasn't for me, and I more so wanted to work in the business sector.
It's completely understandable. So let's start with the most asked around question. The RD Link connects health and wellness brands with registered dietitians. But how does technology come into it? Like from the beginning to the end, how did the idea evolve? And, what were the hurdles that you basically had to face?
Yeah, I think technology comes in because it simplified the process. I guess the idea for the RD Link came out of a personal need for it. I was working with companies to help connect them with registered dietitians. Um, and dietitians would come to me and they would have these different opportunities for food companies and they wanted to connect with them, but they didn't know how to reach these companies. So for a while, I played the middleman where I would connect the brands and the dietitians. And I always wanted to put it online just to make it easier for both sides to find and connect with each other. So I think that's where the technology piece comes in. It just makes it easier for both parties to connect and takes me out of the picture.
Was it cumbersome? Was the process cumbersome in some way because you were the middleman? And I understand that it comes with many responsibilities, much pressure.
Yeah, when I was doing it, yeah, I did it by hand. I had an Excel spreadsheet where I'd have all these dietitians would come to me and they would say, hey, I have this TV segment coming up. Do you have any brands that would want to be featured on it? Or I'm looking for samples to share at this health fair. Do you have any brands? And so I'd keep track of them and then I'd reach out to my brands. And it was incredibly cumbersome, a bit tedious, and not the best model for anyone, really. So putting it online and opening it up to everyone just simplified the process and was a much better model for everybody.
Uh, I completely agree to it. And I also believe that people have a lot of misconception about nutrition and wellness, and they're not just really aware about how they can incorporate wellness and nutrition into their lives. So how does your company, how does your app help them with it?
Help the consumer.
Absolutely.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. So it helps the consumer. I think, I mean, my main mission is really to there's so much nutrition information out there, and I want to simplify it so consumers know what information to believe and what not to believe. I think everyone these days thinks they can talk about nutrition or make health recommendations. And so it's important to me that the people speaking to health are true nutrition experts. And so those are registered dietitians. So it's important to me that these food companies who are pushing out health messages to their consumers are working with registered dietitians to make sure that their information is accurate and correct too. And they're not just working with any health influencer who could be spreading inaccurate information and harming consumers.
So it would be fair to say that the vetting process is really, really crucial for your company, and it's, just on point.
Yeah, so every dietitian that creates a profile, they have to put in their registration number. So we look up everyone by hand and ensure that they are a registered dietitian. Or if not, we accept others who have like master's degrees and PhDs and even some dietetic students as well. And then as far as brands too, we just want to make sure that they align with dietitians and that they're actually products that dietitians would recommend themselves.
That sounds nice. So, what I understand that you wanted the nutrition information to flow in a seamless manner between the consumer and the brand. But what particularly got you into this? I mean, I understand from our previous conversation that clinical was not the setting that you were looking for.
Yeah.
But what really, got you into it, and how has your journey been from the start to this point, 2022?
Yeah, I think I always wanted to work in nutrition communications and found it interesting to work with food companies. So after I worked in clinical, I worked in private practice. And from there, I really found a need to start connecting with these food companies. My patients would always ask me what products I recommended for them or what products I ate myself. So I started to reach out to companies to request samples and coupons to share with my patients. And then from there, I think I was posting about these companies on social media. So other dietitians would ask, how are you connecting with these brands? How are you finding them? And at the same time, I started consulting with food companies to help them connect with dietitians on their side. So I found just that need from personal experience to connect both sides.
Okay. So my next question would be, in this time of startup, everybody wants to create their own company from scratch. They have multiple ideas that they want to run through people who have their own startups. And to be a founder or to be an entrepreneur, how many people did you actually have to pitch your idea to before getting it developed or getting it built? And what were the logistics behind pitching your idea the right way? Or it was like you decided on an idea, you pitched it, and then you went like, I'll go with the flow, whatever happens, I'll see what I want to do next with it?
I think a little bit of both, to be honest. I think I don't know how much I necessarily needed to pitch the idea because I was testing it beforehand on the consulting side and just behind the scenes. I had tested it. I had done that for many years before. So in a sense, I had tested the idea and I knew it would work. I knew it was needed. So as far as pitching it, I knew the concept would work. I did pitch it to a handful of dietitians who I was engaged with frequently and the brands I was working with. And just getting positive feedback from that. I knew there was a need for it. Having bootstrapped all of it, I didn't necessarily need to pitch it to any investors or anything from the start. So I think more so for other people looking to get into something, I think test the idea however you can first. Before I guess pitching it.
So what I can make of this is that it was completely a solo effort from the start, right? You were the only person who was actually working on the project and you wanted to get it developed. So what was the next step for you after you had the idea and you consulted fellow dietitians as well? Did you thought of developing a team next? Did you thought of outsourcing the project completely to get it developed? Can you just walk me through the steps?
Yeah. So because I don't have any technical background, the first step was to learn more about that and figure out how would I actually build this. So there's a few other dietitians in the industry who have technical type products. So I reached out to them and just to learn more about how they created it and who they went to. Then over time, I actually reached out to a few local companies too, to see what that would look like. A few kind of mapped out the idea with a general WordPress theme, and I don't think they were fully grasping what I needed it to do. So that wasn't a fit. Other local ones were going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars, which I couldn't do, bootstrapping it myself. So yeah, I eventually outsourced it to a company overseas. And I think working with them and seeing their initial mock-ups, it began to come to life. My vision came to life. So I think that's when I could first see it come to life and see how it would actually work.
Did you think outsourcing your work was cost efficient and time efficient, considering that you had pitched the ideas to others as well, and it was like trusting somebody you've not known for long, you don't know at all. Was it hard, or just the logistics behind it, the tech terms behind it?
Yeah, it was definitely hard, I think, because you need to find someone who sees your vision like you do. And so it all comes down to finding the right people. And it's okay if you have to, connect with or interview a handful of teams, but outsourcing definitely made financial sense for me too. I think development in the US is far more expensive than in other countries too. So it made sense for me, definitely financially. But also because by outsourcing it, I could get a full team of experts. The technical side isn't my expertise. So I feel like outsourcing, I really got experts in, like I know at InvoZone, you have the designers and you have the user experience experts and you have the business experts and you have all the different departments that I need. So I feel like I get that full team at a more affordable rate than what I would get if I were to hire all those people in-house too.
That's really, really nice to hear. And that's a little surprised that you actually mentioned this. I was not hoping for that, but that's really appreciated. Okay. So since the tech aspect of your product was taken care of by an outsourced team, what do you think about management styles as a founder, as a person who's running entirety of a team, different brands, different dietitians? What would you describe your management style as?
I think I like to be more so the visionary and have my team help execute on it. We're a very small team, so I am hands-on, and I connect with my team nearly every day. So I like them to be able to make decisions and take responsibility for their roles and bring ideas to the table. So I like to think I am the visionary, but want them to have a very involved role as well.
Sounds about right. So you had a mission. You created an entire app from scratch. Do you think moving further on that is somehow going to change? Maybe you would want to, expand your product to other markets, to overseas market as well, or would you want to, change your mission somehow? I would say adjusting to the need of time or to the need of hour.
Definitely. Yeah, I see the product evolving over time. I think we could definitely expand to other countries. And we do have some dietitians and companies that are based in Canada right now. But I definitely see that expanding, I think also to other industries as well, other types of healthcare professionals who want to recommend these types of products. I think that would be a natural fit. So definitely, yeah, there's always room for growth and we're always, looking to expand. So definitely.
I'll come towards my very, very last question for the podcast. And it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Just let me add that. But what would be your advice to those who have an idea what they want, but haven't started working on it? So it'd be like they have an idea, they know what they should do, but they're not doing it. Maybe because they don't have the capital to do it, maybe because they don't have the right support. Because I believe that support is very necessary whenever you want to start a new venture in your life or whenever you want to start a new chapter in your life. Because knowing that you have that back support makes you take that first step, towards the next
Right.
chapter. So, what would be your advice to that people who actually are starting their own venture right now, or to those who want to start?
I think start reaching out to people. I think there's so much you can learn from other people who have done it and just start figuring out what the next steps would be so that you can start taking action. So whether that's looking into designers or developers, or getting someone to create a mock-up for you of what it could look like, or pricing out local options, or pricing out any options. Just looking into what are those next steps you need to take to get your idea moving forward.
Okay. I just, again, absolute pleasure talking to you. I hope that we can connect in the future as well. And you would be available when we want to do another podcast, maybe on the
Sure,
next
I'd be
chapter
happy
of
to. Yeah,
wellness and
thank you
health.
for having me.
Again, apologies for waking you up so early.
Oh, no, I am up. Don't worry. No, thank you so much
No,
for having me.
I myself actually am not a morning person, so I understand the struggle of getting out of your bed too early.
Oh no, I'm a morning person, so it's
That's
not a
nice to
problem for
hear. That's really nice to hear. I hope I was one and I can be one in the future as well.
me.
But thank you so much for your time, Jen. I really, really appreciate it. It was really nice talking to you and very
Yeah, you
insightful.
too. Thank you so much. Yeah, we will
Thank
talk
you.
again soon.
Sure. Thank you. Take care.
All right. Bye.
Bye.